say, kids, what time is it?
Week 1.
Oh, week 1 in the books?
It was fun.
Yeah.
Till I sat down and looked at my picks and went, ooh.
Yeah, well, why are we here picking?
I don't know. I'll tell you who should be on here picking is Six. Our loyal viewer and friend Six sent her picks in, and she went 9-7. So I think we should relinquish. Let's relinquish the show to her and go do something else.
She should just do the actual picks, and we could just like comment on it. Yeah.
Exactly. Holy hell!
Wow, I can't believe it. Usually, it's like, to me, it's like week 2 is like the really hard one because you always overreact to everything that happens to week 1. But this was bad.
Yeah, this was bad. And I will.
Did
overreact.
we both have the same?
No, we had 2 games that were different, and we split.
I meant like the same record. Yeah.
Same record, 7-9.
Yeah, okay.
You won the Seattle Indy game. I picked Indy. You picked Seattle, and I won the Arizona Tennessee game.
Yeah.
You took the Titans, and I took the Cards. So, rather than do what we did last season and just go through each game and recap and tell people what happened, because everyone's watched NFL Prime Time or the NFL Network show, and you know what I mean, like Game Day and all that stuff. They already seen the highlights and stuff. Why don't we just like go through and talk about stuff that impressed us or that depressed us?
I mean, even YouTube gets these highlights like 5 minutes after the game.
Yeah.
Everybody sees those.
So just for more expediency and more interesting conversation, we could talk about stuff that stood out to us.
Yeah.
A handful of situations or players, and then we'll get into our week 2 picks. How does that sound?
That's great.
All right, why don't you go first?
I like that. All right. I mean, I could go with the obvious shocker, but I'm going to move into that aforementioned Arizona-Tennessee game.
Okay.
Because I made the mistake last year. Like, I was high on Arizona last year, I remember, midway through the season. And then sometime after that, Murray got injured, and the whole team seemed to just kind of be deflated over that. Even the defense did bad after that. And I remember, I think we both picked them to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
And they just kind of just faded away, and I'm like, oh, and I carried that prejudice into this year. So, I don't know why, but I carried that prejudice. So, which is why I picked Tennessee to beat them, and boy, was I wrong. Arizona, oh my gosh, Arizona's like, I mean, they're freaking good. I didn't realize how good their defense got too.
I know.
From last year.
I know.
It's like Chandler Jones, 5 sacks. I want to mention him. 5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, which I think resulted in like 2 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about like being the big move on defense. I mean, and the rest of the defense did well too.
He's in a contract negotiation right now.
Yeah, and that's going to be like big for him.
Yeah,
that one game is really going to. They probably should pay him now.
Right.
Before it gets.
Before he racks up even more numbers, right?
And then Kyler Murray was like that guy why I jumped onto their bandwagon early last year too. He was, I mean, it was so obvious now that he never fully recovered last year.
No,
but he did everything. He did all the plays. I mean, the Titans defense we mentioned before were bad last year, and they haven't done anything to improve that defense. And he had his way, all running, passing. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And back to the defense. Travis Henry for Tennessee. What did he get? Like 10 yards?
Oh, Derrick Henry.
total?
Yeah, Derrick Henry went nowhere.
I'm sorry, not Derrick Henry, right?
Yeah.
Who's like their whole running game.
Didn't he have like 2.5 yards at halftime or something?
Yeah, I think he had 10 total yards.
Yeah.
So I give a lot of credit for both Arizona's offense and defense, and the Titans. Mike Grable after the game said this quote, which kind of summed it all up. You really don't want to hear this from the coach after your first game, but he said it. Now we'll see what the culture of this team really is.
After week 1.
after week 1.
Well,
really don't
you
wanna
bring
see
in
him.
Julio, and you've got A.J. Brown, and Tannehill's had a couple good years, and you've got one of the best backs in football.
Yeah.
And you sputter at home. Yeah. It's funny, actually, my talking point number 1 was Chandler Jones. So thanks,
Oh, okay.
Edson.
Sorry.
I'll just scribble that out.
No, but that is, yeah. I mean, yeah.
All right,
That
I'll
was
move to my next point that I want to talk about. Are the former Oakland, now Las Vegas Raiders put on quite a show Monday night.
Yep.
I don't know if you watched the whole game to the
I
end.
I did.
And conversely, what happened with the Baltimore Ravens was a shock to me. The game was right in their wheelhouse, 14-point lead. I mean, granted, they're short 3 running backs, but they are always able to control the ground game. You and I could run the ball for that team, right? They've got a problem at tackle with Alejandro Villanueva. He got blown by on just about every play, whether it was Max Crosby or 94, I can't think of his name, who got the strip sack at the end.
Yep.
Just were all over him. Just every play they got by him or bulldozed him right into Lamar. Lamar got sacked twice and fumbled both times.
Fumbled. Yep.
Even though he looked much better in the pocket as a passer, now all of a sudden seems a little iffy with the run.
For the run.
Yeah, or at least when the pocket collapses around him and he's pinched. But the shock to me was that Derek Carr kept cool. They chipped away. They got themselves in position. And with 35 seconds left and no timeouts, got them down the field to Brian Edwards. This guy, Brian Edwards, all of a sudden out of nowhere starts catching all these balls. Kick the game-tying field goal. Go to overtime. They think they score a touchdown. The field empties out. They review it. They find out that Edwards was down at like the half-yard line. They bring everybody back on the field. They get stopped on 1st and goal. And then Carr throws a pick in the end zone.
That was such a bad sequence.
Oh, it was terrible. He overthrew the ball. He threw it way too hard.
As soon as I saw that first replay, I knew they didn't get the touchdown. But then first and goal at the 1, geez.
Just take 3 cracks at it from the ground.
Yeah.
You got, what's his name there, Jones. Just take 3 cracks at it.
Well, they had a false start penalty that brought.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about
back to the 5, which is probably why they.
Which was right, but still. Yeah, he threw it way too hard to Snead. Went right through his hands, off the guy's face, deflected, bing, bang, boom, and goes the other way. So now you're thinking, well, it's over. Baltimore's going to take the ball down the field, and that's going to be that, right?
Just a field. They just needed a field goal.
Just needed a field goal at that point. And that pass rush, that relentless pass rush, that Max Crosby did not stop the whole game. Guy's going to be a problem for Pittsburgh this week, I think. But yeah, it just and then more weirdness though ensues where they decide to kick a field goal on 2nd down, but they let too much time elapse and they couldn't find the kicker. He's all the way down, still kicking into the practice net. Can't get on the field.
Probably because he's thinking, well, they're not going to want me on 2nd down.
On 2nd down, right? He's right. But here's what I don't understand: if you get to a point, you're like, okay, we can't get the kicker out here. Just line the offense back up and spike the ball.
Yeah.
Instead, they take a delay of game. It moves them back. Now they got to bring the offense back out on the field. I was like, what is going on here? And on the first play, Carr falling backwards just heaves it up to this. I forgot the dude's name. He was wide open, number 7, who didn't catch a ball. He wasn't even in the game. He was all of a sudden he's there, catches the ball wide open, walks in.
Probably why they weren't covering him.
Yeah. Oh my God, it was. I couldn't believe it. I was clapping because I hate the Ravens. So yeah, that was the most entertaining game of the week, I think. So I just wanted to talk about that.
At least the second half. I mean, I had this game the whole time, but it was kind of like in the background where I'm like, yep, this is going exactly like I figured. Baltimore is just going to run the clock out. It's going to be a shortened game, 14-0, game over. And early on, Carr was like missing targets.
Oh, yeah. There was a point where he missed 7 or 8 in a row.
Oh, my gosh. And then in the second half, you're right on point. He just was like on fire with that. He couldn't miss. He couldn't miss in the second half. I don't know what happened. Some switch turned on, and their defense. Wow, didn't realize their pass rush was so good.
Yeah, and Darren Waller struggled in the first half. He was targeted like 11 times, had 1 catch.
Yep.
Like he was stuff was going through his hands. He was
I
dropping
remember they
things.
kept saying they're gonna they kept going back to him over and over and over again.
Yeah, it finally clicked in the second half. Everything came together, and boy, that was a huge win for them.
Yeah.
So, all right, what's your next talking point?
Well, I mean, it was I think the biggest shocker was the Green Bay New Orleans game.
Oh,
That whole thing was. Well, who could have 35-3? Where Green Bay, I mean, I wouldn't even think that Green Bay would have won 35-3, but for them to lose 35-3, what the heck is that all about?
if I told you
Uh,
before that game started, one quarterback is going to throw 5 touchdowns and no picks, and the other one's going to throw no touchdowns and 2 picks, you'd probably have the names
Oh,
flipped.
yeah, Aaron Rodgers. I mean, why would I pick Jameis Winston for that? But I think the biggest thing here is that Saints defense. Now, I know it's one game, and it could be that they just came up with a perfect game plan at that day against, Rodgers, and things just kind of snowballed. It could be, but if that Saints defense is going to be that good, then they're going to be there at the end, at least for a playoff, maybe if not the division, because it's
Yeah.
oh my gosh, you mentioned, well, yeah, Jameis Winston 5 touchdowns, but less than 150 passing yards. You know
Yeah.
what that tells me? That their defense, the Saints defense, gave him the ball at the Green Bay side the whole day long.
Yeah, exactly.
He didn't have to go far
No.
to score. That's what impressed me the most. The New Orleans Saints defense. Wow.
Yeah, and
And then you did mention. I remember you mentioned last time that there was the storm down there. It kind of inspired them to win, and I remember saying that's true. I agree, but that's with Drew Brees there. With well, nope, happened again.
happened again.
They were inspired.
That's Sean Payton, I think.
Yep.
I think that's Sean Payton more than anything. And Sean Payton clearly knows how to rehab quarterbacks because Winston did throw a pick, by the way, but it was on a penalty, so they got the ball back. So it didn't count. But clearly just he went in there and he did what he had to do, and, he's surrounded by a lot of talent still.
Yeah, yeah.
And people forget Jameis Winston is a world-class talent. I mean, he did throw 35 touchdown passes, just happened to throw 30 picks to go along with it. But again, as a lot of that might have been in Bruce Arians' offense. What's that? Risk it for the biscuit or whatever his thing is.
Yep.
Bruce Arians. So, he runs. Even Tom Brady threw a lot of interceptions for the first half of the year last year.
Right. Yep.
Until they kind of got on the same page.
And he's not when you're not forced to carry the game on your shoulders, you just need to do your thing. I mean, I think he only threw 20-something, 23 passes or something.
Yeah.
So when you're not forced to carry the whole thing, then you can do better.
And let's remember too, he came into camp as the number 2. The job was Taysom Hill, so he had to outplay Taysom Hill.
Yep.
Just to get the job. So I think you might see a different Jameis Winston going forward.
Yeah, and for Aaron, I don't know what happened in Green Bay with that offense. I mean, I guess you could just chalk it up to, one bad game of the season or something. It happens to be your first week, and or we're saying Aaron Rodgers is. You mentioned his second revenge.
Yeah.
Revenge. Well, maybe his revenge this year is to tank the whole team, as opposed to showing how good he is.
Yeah, funny you bring that up. Was it just me, or did he look completely disinterested?
He did. That's worrisome. I mean, you could chalk up one game of the season, but if that's how he's going to be, that was the whole thing. It's they weren't even, it didn't affect them. It didn't seem to affect them.
He just, nope, in his press conference, he looked like he was falling asleep. You might, not that he's tanking, but he's not engaged.
Whatever. Yeah.
Right.
He's not into. It looks like he's not into football for that game.
Yeah. We'll see going forward. At least they have the Lions this week, so we'll get to that in a bit. Though.
I mean,
boy, I got to pick between one of my next 3 talking points. I'm going to go with one that might surprise you. I'm going to say Mac Jones and the Patriots.
It doesn't surprise me, though, but okay.
It doesn't surprise me, but what does surprise me is how Oh, careful, shall I say? That offensive game plan was with him. Tentative, maybe.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, I look at it this way: you're Bill Belichick, and you decide to get rid of a former MVP quarterback based solely on performance. Clearly,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Of course.
Cam Newton's a shell of his former self, but still, he is a former MVP. He has been to a Super Bowl. He knows how to win in this league. He has experience. If you're going to jettison all that for this rookie, then why did you put an ankle bracelet on this guy?
Yeah. I mean, usually I would say he's a rookie quarterback, and that's what you do. But with Belichick, he doesn't do that. So this was kind of like
And it really
contrary to
looked
what he
like
usually
it
does.
looked like they ran the conservative playbook is like just manage the game, play not to
Yep.
lose. It was I don't want to say frustrating, and I didn't watch the whole game. I was in and out. But what I did see, it just looked like Jones was playing with like a piano on his back. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
it's not so much his performance that shocks me. It's the fact that Bill Belichick went into that game so tentative and so careful and so conservative on in a home opener. Um, it's weird. It just
Yeah. I don't understand. I mean, hopefully they'll open it up as they keep going through the season. And Mac Jones did look good on some plays. I think he has the talent and the poise to do a lot more if he lets them. So hopefully it'll happen.
yeah.
Um,
So I don't know, but in the post game, he was taking a lot of the blame, and it's like it's your first game, bro.
yeah.
I think the coaching staff was just holding him back a little bit. I think they should have just let him cut loose a little bit. I mean, you only won what 7 games last year, and you're kind of playing with house money when you go with a rookie quarterback anyway. So just let it rip.
I mean, the only thing I can think of is I know the Dolphin defense is like this opportunistic type squad.
Mm-hmm.
Like the team, the Dolphins as a team,
Cause a lot of
often
turnovers. Yeah,
they often relied on the like just
yeah,
getting that interception or that fumble at the right time to just clinch the game or to get ahead or whatever. And maybe he's just trying to minimize Jones's mistakes, but I don't know. I guess you could speculate.
maybe it would seem like a very vanilla game from both teams.
Oh, for sure.
From both
Yeah.
teams, it was shocking. I
Yeah, that
expect
worries me from the Dolphin perspective too.
yeah, I expected a lot more, especially when you have two former teammates matching head to head, right? So anyway, what do you got next? You're gonna
Um,
take one of my two. I know you are.
Probably. I guess I'll go to the obvious one: Cleveland, Kansas City.
That was one of my two.
I saw I saw that. I mean, I wasn't able to watch this game, but I saw the early score, 22-10, that Cleveland was winning. I'm like, wow, Cleveland just started right where they left off. I mean, their running game is awesome. That offensive line, Mayfield was making all the throws, not making a mistake. And then I realized also, and I remembered, thought about you when I saw that uh,
OBJ.
OBJ was not in there, and how we said, sometimes he can, interfere with Mayfield's performance. I was like, wow, that he's doing so well, and of course it makes sense.
Yeah.
um, yeah, he really came into his own last year, and he became such a good quarterback. And he was just starting out really good again. And they had him on the ropes. I mean, 22-10. I mean, I know that's not a insurmountable lead, obviously, especially with the high potent offense. But they had him. They had the formula to beat them. The problem is that against the Chiefs, you cannot get away with start when you start making mistakes. And they started making some mistakes towards the end of that game. They got the interception. I think there was a special teams with was it a block punt or just
It was
a muff punt, which
muff
gave them,
snap.
yeah, like which gave them the Chiefs the ball at like the 10-yard line or whatever.
Yep.
And you cannot, like, those mistakes can't start creeping in if you want to finish off the Chiefs. And they would have too, but you know you give Mahomes like the little flicker of light at the end of the tunnel, he'll take it.
You are absolutely right. I watched 3 quarters of this game. I watched the entire first half. Missed most of the third quarter, if not all of it, because I was at a friend's house and I had to drive home. Saw the fourth quarter. You're absolutely right. The Browns, they played almost a perfect game.
Almost.
Yeah. Almost. The muff snap was the problem. They were still ahead when that happened, and then the Chiefs took the lead. And then Mayfield made that horrible trying to bring him down the field at the end. He should have never thrown that ball. He was, being dragged down, and he just threw it up for grabs. And
I actually thought he was trying to throw that
I think
away.
He might have been, but he didn't.
Because he got hit, maybe
didn't get enough on it. Yeah. So you have to play a flawless game to beat the Chiefs. But you're right, and boy, without OBJ, they don't need him. They got this new guy Schwartz. The guy's like as fast as Tyreek Hill. It's on their running game, Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. I mean, this team, and I'll tell you, I was sitting there with my buddy Doug watching the first half, and Baker Mayfield, Doug kept saying, "Oh my God, he's so accurate. His throws are right where they need to be. He puts them in these tight windows. He puts them right where they need to be, over and over and over again. He is a damn good quarterback." And it's really sad that as good as they played that game, they came out on the losing end because they made one. I say one mistake, and it was the muff snap on the punt, which was the punter's first appearance in the game. It was in the fourth quarter. That's right. How well the Browns were doing. They actually had a chance to put more points on the board late in this first half, too, and they blew it. They went backward. Penalty and a sack or something like that. It took them out of range. They could have tacked on a few more, and that might have been just enough to get them over that hump. But, yeah, you can't waste a single opportunity when you play the Chiefs.
And I kept thinking in the back of my mind as I kept going kept up with the scores. It's like, the Chiefs, I'm just waiting for their comeback. It's like, I don't know why, because until it happens when somebody just hands them like a defeat, then you always wait for that comeback.
What irritates me is that Tyreek Hill continues to be open. Like,
that's weird.
There's like, you're not going to get beat by any other receiver on that team. They're just not that good. There's a huge drop off from Hill to like Harriman, or they're just not that good.
Yeah.
And somehow this guy's constantly open, and I know he's got cheetah speed, but come on, like, roll a safety, do something, take this guy out of the game, take your chances with everybody else.
Yeah. Yep.
It's just every time Mahomes needs to make a play, it's Tyreek Hill. It's so frustrating.
Until someone comes up with a defensive plan to take him out of the game.
And then, down in the red zone, it's Kelsey. They just go to him. It's Tyreek Hill for the splash plays, and it's Kelsey to get the short range, the inside the red zone. That's the recipe. The other guys are just window dressing. That's all. They hardly used Clyde Edwards-Helaire at all.
Yeah. Yep.
The other thing that hurt the Browns early in the game, there was unsportsmanlike. There was an incident on the sidelines, and their starting safety, Harrison, started face stomping Clyde Edwards-Helaire and got tossed, and so you lose your best safety right out of the gate, which did not help them down at the end there.
I saw an interesting stat, which was unbelievable when I saw it. Mahomes in September.
Yeah,
I know he hasn't been in the league that many years. He's 9-0. That's not that big of a deal, although it is a big deal. But 35 TDs, 0 interceptions.
In like almost 4,000 yards or something like that.
That's like a full season.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's insane.
So I wonder what they'll come up with in October. It's like
Would they have like one loss in October? Who knows?
I don't know. I don't know where these guys come up with. I just like that. Someone said it. I'm like, I'm going to hold on to that stat.
I'm going to use my last talking point because you left it open. You knew it was for me. It's my team, the Steelers. That nobody thought could do what they did. What can you say? I missed the first half, and I got there at halftime. They're down 10-0. And clearly, nobody was really doing much in the first half from either team. So
right,
I missed nothing. But, boy, that second half. And I'll tell you, that defense, I think Melvin Ingram might prove to be the biggest scrap heap acquisition the Steelers have made in a long time, maybe if ever.
Wow.
I mean, James Harrison aside, the Chargers gave up on Ingram because he was hurt last year. This guy's a 5-time Pro Bowler, and he looked like it, every bit of it. The pressure he was putting on the quarterback, and Alex Highsmith in his second year looks really good as a pass rusher as well, and of course T.J. Watt, who held out until 3 days before the season, comes in and gets two sacks, a strip sack, fumble. The guy he's a monster. So, and Minkah Fitzpatrick looked like he did 2 years ago, just blowing people up like a missile. He was all over the field. And they got a special team score. Went from 10-0 to 20-10 in the blink of an eye. All of a sudden, it was like game over. And you could tell it was game over at that point because the Steelers defense clamped down. Josh Allen looked totally baffled, lost, totally. Yeah. He looked like he did against the Chiefs in the championship game. Yeah, so that was shocking to me. And the Steeler offense did just enough to win. Their line needs work. But Ben, being a veteran, he navigated those landmines very well in the second half and found a way to get the ball down the field. And a lot of it was throw it up to Claypool, let him either make the play or get a pass interference doing it. He would just throw it up, let Claypool go up to try to get it.
Yep.
So, very, very impressive win. And I might rethink my first losing season under Mike Tomlin just based on one game.
Still, I mean, it's against a really good opponent, so it's a big win. It's not just, it's not something that's against, the Jaguars or anything like that. It's a quality opponent.
Yep.
In their not at home, away in the Bills.
Opening day in Buffalo.
Yeah, that's a big win
for a team.
I was there.
Everyone thinks is a Super Bowl contender. So yeah,
I was watching this game like on and off. Well, not consistently, but I was watching this game, and every time all I could see was either Allen running for his life, or just all these passes just falling down or whatever. It's like what happened to your offense? But of course, that was impressive. The most impressive unit out there was the Steelers defense. It was like they were all over the place. Wherever the ball was, there was like 5 or 6 people all over.
It was shocking.
I'm a little bit worried about the Steelers' running game still. Maybe they still need some time for their offensive line to gel a little bit more. So I'm a little worried about that as the season goes on. But that defense playing like this, they're going to be in every game.
Yeah. All right, one last shocker for you. You have one last shocker?
Not a shocker, but I had something. Well, it's not really a shocker, but I'll go back to I don't know why I picked against them, but actually I can go back to the Thursday game, which wasn't a shocker, but Tampa Bay played exactly how we expected them to play. Their offense made all the plays, scored as much as over 30 points. I can no longer just be surprised anymore that a 44-year-old can throw a ball like that because it's Tom Brady. Whatever, if he does it up to 50, does it up to 50. I'm not going to be. And their defense, took out the Dallas running game, but I know it's in a losing effort, but the Cowboys did show me something. They didn't just, get blown out. That passing, Dak, it's almost like back to before the injury happened and playing better than when he was before the injury happened. It looked like he was just hitting all his receivers, moving really well in the pocket, just avoiding the pass rush. Their defense does look a little bit better. They did cause 4 turnovers, but gave up a lot of points as you would expect. So I mean, I might want to revise how they'll come in this NFC East based on that performance. We'll see.
Yeah. My last bit of shocker is the Cincinnati Bengals over Minnesota. Yeah, wow. I mean, Dalvin Cook went nowhere.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow brought them back in overtime, and they won the game. And it looks like the Vikings. I don't know. Maybe they're not as good as I thought they were. Maybe they are the team they were last year. So.
Yeah, I thought they were going to do. Their formula for winning is not Kirk Cousins throwing the ball 49 times.
No. And Burrow's got another weapon. Jamar Chase is great. And they've got that LSU connection going. So Cincinnati might be a tough out this year.
Well, if they can keep that balance, I mean, they had almost like the perfect balance. I think Burrow threw 27 passes, and they had 29 in the ground.
Yeah, yep.
So when he's not the only, when he doesn't have to carry the team and not running for his life, or when they have a running game, you could really see how good he is, and he showed that. And yeah, I mean, they still have to learn how to finish off an opponent. They could have put the Vikings away and they kind of let them back in, but still they showed resiliency in finally winning it.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, the overtime was something to watch. I watched it, and Burrow's he might be the best quarterback in the division. I don't know. Wow. I mean, that division is loaded with good quarterbacks. You got Jackson, you got Mayfield, and you got Burrow, and Roethlisberger's a shadow of his former self, but he's still the wily veteran. So we'll see. But
I was shocked about that. Dalvin Cook, jeez.
Yeah. Derrick Henry and Dalvin Cook went nowhere. Two of the top 5 backs in the league, and actually Ezekiel Elliott went nowhere on Thursday too. So it's 3 of them. 3 of the top 5
to the running game.
Yeah, crazy. All right, ready to get into? Oh, go ahead.
I totally forgot my other. Besides that really the stat with Mahomes, I forgot to give my other one. So back to the Ravens-Raiders game. Have you heard this one? The Ravens were 81-0.
Yes.
When leading by 14 points under Harbaugh until that game.
Yes.
That's amazing.
I know.
81.
Again, I mean, we talked about it at the top of the show. 14-0 Ravens. It's put a fork in it, right?
Yeah, I was
kind
of just like almost gonna forget.
Could not believe it when they cut it to 14-10 at halftime. When Vegas cut it to 14-10 at halftime. I said, well, we'll see. Wow. And I thought, well, Ravens get the kickoff after half. Like, that's going to be the game right there. If the Ravens go down the field and score and it becomes 21-10 ball game, right? But they didn't. And I think if memory serves, Jackson might have fumbled the first right there. That might have been the first fumble.
Yeah. Yep. He did.
Yeah. So, and the whole game turned on that first fumble. So, and then his second fumble cost him the game completely in overtime. So, all right, let's get to week 2, shall we?
Yeah, let's see if we can beat 6 this time.
Yes. All right, 6.
Maybe combined we can beat 6.
Here we go, combined. That's it. It's going to take our combined efforts to.
Boy, she's good.
All right, we got 8:20 Thursday night NFL Network. The New York Giants at the Washington Football Team.
Yeah, we didn't talk about either one of these.
No, why?
But yeah, right, exactly why. I mean, that Giants offense doesn't look good.
They
at
look
all,
putrid. Boy.
Yeah, and yeah, exactly. And their defense isn't that great, so I think this will be probably a good, close game. And I know Washington lost Fitzpatrick, but I'm not happy about Fitzpatrick getting injured, but I'm happy about Taylor Heineke getting his chance, because I remember last year we saw him. At least they're going to give him a chance to play and see what he can do. And I think it'll be enough to beat the Giants, especially with their Washington defense on top of that. I
actually think this. I think Washington might win by maybe as high as 9 or 10 on this game. I'm with you too. I think I like Ryan Fitzpatrick, but enough's enough. Enough's enough. He's a journeyman. Yeah. He's getting up in age. You're not going anywhere with him. Just give the kid a shot. And so Heineke's going to finally get that shot. And you're right. I don't see the Giants solving Washington's defense. Saquon Barkley does not look like Saquon Barkley at all yet. And it's going to take a while, I think, a couple weeks. So, yeah, I'm with you. Football team, big. And by big, when two teams that are offensively inept get together, big is like 6 to 9 points.
Yeah.
Let's go to Sunday, 1 o'clock, CBS. The New England Patriots visit your New York Jets. Not your New York Jets. But...
It's always tough when two 0-1 teams play each other because it's like a team's going to start 0-2. I'm going to go with the Patriots. I don't think they're going to lose their first two. I think they're going to do just enough on offense to win this game, and the Patriots defense, which is good. Uh, Belichick always has a lot of surprises for rookie quarterbacks,
Yep.
and he's, so that's why I'm going to go with that. I think the Jets will eventually, start competing more, but I don't think they're going to win this one.
Yeah. Zach Wilson looked sad in the first half
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about this game
against
either,
Carolina, but in the second half, him and Corey Davis started getting something going.
Yep.
That said, he's going to need more than Corey Davis. And the Jets' offensive line that got all this praise in the preseason looked pretty bad against Carolina's defense. So I'm with you. Patriots defense, Bill Belichick against rookie quarterbacks. And based on the performance of the Jets' offensive line last week, I'm going New England as well. 1 o'clock, CBS. Denver Broncos at the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, you saw what the Denver defense did to the Giants. Now they're coming up against the Jaguars, who got blown away by a team we thought was a big mess. Houston. Whatever they do on the Broncos do on offense in this game is a bonus. I think their defense is just going to win the game.
Okay, now there are two things going against Denver in this game. One, no Jerry Jeudy.
Okay. Yep.
And number two, the heat and mugginess of Jacksonville at 1 o'clock on a Sunday in September. Doesn't matter. Don't think it's going to matter. I think the Broncos might be one of these surprise teams this year. I mean, again, the week one overreaction. Whoa, Denver looks awesome, right? But Teddy looked good. And he didn't even use Cortland Sutton.
Right.
Now he's going to have to, right? So, yeah, I'm with you. And their defense is awesome. Their defense is always awesome. They got Von Miller back. Having Von Miller back, even if he's like 60% old Von Miller, just his presence in that huddle.
Right.
It's like having Ray Lewis. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I'm Denver all the way. 1 p.m. Fox. The Buffalo Bills at your Miami Dolphins. Big game for both teams.
Yeah, I hate to do this because I was really hoping to want to pick my team, but I cannot see the Bills go 0-2 after they pretty much got our offense anyways. Their offense pretty much got embarrassed at home against the Steelers. I think they're going to you're kind of going to see much more characteristic of them on offense and do a lot more than they did last week, and it's going to be enough for them to win. I mean, the Dolphins will be competitive in this game. I just don't think it'll be enough to win. So I'm going to go with Buffalo.
Well, there's something against the Bills right off the bat, and that is the heat and mugginess of Miami in September.
That's true. That's true.
I think this is going to be kind of relatively low scoring.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think Buffalo will squeak it out because I like the Stephon Diggs factor. But it could go either way. I see this like 20-17 kind of a thing. But
I will not be shocked. This will not be a shocker at all if the Dolphins win.
Exactly. Exactly. It could be a turnover or a special teams play that decides this game. So, but I'm with you. I think Buffalo has the edge here. I'll go Buffalo. 1 p.m. Fox, the 49ers at your Philadelphia Eagles.
This was a really hard one based on what the Eagles did. And I know the 49ers went off to a big, huge lead against Detroit, but they let them back in and couldn't believe how close that game was. The Eagles, I guess I got to see them do more other than against somebody like the Falcons. And Hurts does seem to be playing with a lot more confidence this year, at least with that first game. Much more comfortable, and he's a big part of the running game. But I'm still going to go with San Francisco because I think they have the stronger defense and stronger offense. And I guess I have to see the Eagles beat somebody else other than the Falcons to take them a little bit more serious.
Yeah. 49ers, Mostert. Like, what's with Mostert? He's
Oh
hurt
yeah,
again. They
yeah,
also lost their best corner for the season.
that was bad. And
Uh,
maybe that's what opened the. When did he go down? Was it?
I'm not sure. I wasn't
Yeah,
watching that game at all.
maybe that's when it opened the opportunity for a golf. Maybe.
Yeah, and combined with garbage time, you kind of let down.
Yeah,
You're up by like 4 touchdowns. You're kind of like, let's not get hurt. Let's just get out of here.
yeah.
And next thing you know, it starts cascading, and you can't stop it because you can't just flip a switch and turn it back on. I think that Detroit's comeback was kind of an aberration along those lines. Like the 49ers just kind of sat on the bench and like, we got this. Jalen Hurts looks awesome.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow, does he look good? And the rookie receiver, can't think of his name right now, but boy, they put up some. I just was shocked they put up that many points last week. I did not see that coming. That said, I think the 49ers are all around a better team. And, they went to a Super Bowl. They're a little more battle-tested. So I'll go with the 49ers on the road. 1 o'clock, Fox, Los Angeles Rams at the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah. Speaking of a team that looked good, the Rams with Matthew Stafford. Wow, they kind of just went out and did exactly how they planned it.
Yeah, right.
I know it was against the Bears, but
We'll get to that.
a win is a win. It was a very high quality win, and they were making big plays. Um, so I'm gonna go with them. Geez, I just totally forgot who you said they're playing.
The Colts.
Oh, okay. So yeah, the, you know, I know the Colts got beat pretty badly, and I actually picked them to lose that game. But it kind of surprised me how badly their running game didn't get off the ground at all. And I can't even say Wentz just like disintegrated. He was okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like shocked that the Colts running game didn't do much. And with that Rams defensive line, I think they're going to go 1-2, and the Rams are going to win.
Okay. I'm actually taking the home team. I'm taking the Colts for a couple of reasons. One, the Rams have to travel east and play a 1 o'clock game, which is 10 a.m. to their body clock, which means they got to be at the stadium somewhere around 7 a.m. I don't know. I just think the Colts, given a second chance at home, they're really good team. They're a playoff team. And you're right. It wasn't Wentz that cost them that game last week. They have 3 awesome running backs, and they couldn't get out of their own way. Their defense is solid. I think the jet lag might hit the Rams a little harder than they anticipate. I got to go with the home team. Kind of along those lines with Belichick, too. I don't know if the Colts, if they start 0-2, they're going to be in big trouble.
0-2, both at home. Wow, that is
both at home. Yeah. So we're different on that one. Next up, 1 o'clock, CBS. The Las Vegas Derek Carrs travel to Pittsburgh to face the TJ Watts.
Yeah, wow. This should be quite a good game, I think.
Yeah.
After what we saw with the Raiders and see what they can do against the Pittsburgh defense. I mean, I'm going to give the Steelers the edge at home, but I think this is kind of like a pick 'em game to me. But I'll still go with the Steelers because just being the home team. And I always think in the back of my mind, like when the Raiders come up, and they did this last year, when they come up with a really good, high emotional quality win, they kind of just do. I'll be nice. Do badly the following game. So I think that's going to be a factor. So that's why I'll pick the Steelers for this.
Remember last year when Henry Ruggs got behind the Jets defense and scored that touchdown? It's like with 4 seconds to go,
That was bad.
and we were like, "Wow!" And I think they were 7-2 after that, and then they went right in the toilet.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm with you on that. That's all I could think of. Like after that game, you're like, "Wow, the Raiders look really good." And I think they lost 4 in a row after that, and then ended up 8-8 overall.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pittsburgh at home. You got the Raiders coming off a short week. They've got to make the trek from Vegas to that's a 3 time zone hop, play a 10 a.m. game, and coming off an emotional win like that, I don't know if you can ratchet it up again that quickly. And it's gonna be interesting to see if Max Crosby has that much gas in the tank again.
Yeah. That'll be the interesting matchup.
Because if he
against the
does,
offensive line, yeah.
If he does, the Steelers' inexperienced offensive line will have tons of problems with that dude. But Gerald McCoy's gone for the year, so the Raiders have a good pass rush, though.
Yeah, I know. I saw that.
I
was shocked.
They can bring it. They got a couple guys there that can bring it. So I still think Steelers at home, Raiders jet lag, short week, the whole thing. And again, like you said last year, they showed this exact pattern. Good win, bad loss. Good win, bad loss. 1 o'clock, Fox. The Cincinnati Burros at the Chicago Bears.
This is probably going to shock some people, but I'm going to go with the Bears here. Okay. I'm not forking them just yet. Well, maybe I am, but I'm going to pick them to win this game. I saw a couple of things that they did okay on offense against the Rams. It wasn't nearly enough. I'm still kind of like, what is he doing? Why is Dalton out there?
Oh my God.
And that may prove to be the problem that why this might be a bad pick, but I just think the Bengals' inexperience, going after after getting a big win, kind of going to Chicago, and Chicago's gonna like find a way to beat them. The Chicago defense has lost a few pieces, and they're not as good as last year, but I think they still have enough to kind of make them scramble a little bit and worry about where the next rusher is going to come from. I think they'll just barely do enough to win the Bears.
I'm going with the Bengals.
Okay.
I'm going with
this
the Bengals.
This may be the only time I pick the Bears the whole year.
I'm going with the Bengals because the Bears' offensive line is not good. They didn't even Robinson couldn't. What was the longest pattern he ran the other night? 12 yards.
Yeah, it was.
He's your best receiver. What are you doing? I mean, and it is a lot of that because there's no time to get him down the field because the line can't hold. Andy Dalton is a total chucker. What the hell are you doing, man? We talked about this on our previews show. Like, he struggled in Dallas with all those weapons they have.
Yeah.
And now you put him on Chicago where it's like slim pickings. No, man. No. Justin Fields needs to start if they want to win this game.
Maybe this will be a game where Justin Fields goes in. I don't know.
Justin Fields, he might take over at halftime if they're getting smoked. And here's my last little X factor before we move on. Andy Dalton in a big spot. Andy Dalton in a big spot is horrible, right? This is a revenge game. It's his team. It's his former team, the Bengals.
Right. Will he get revenge?
No, I don't think so. 1 o'clock, CBS. The Houston Texans, the upstart surprising Houston Texans, travel to Cleveland to take on Baker Mayfield and those disappointed Browns.
I'm sorry, but I can't figure out a way how the Browns could ever lose this game.
Well,
holy cow!
If they lose Baker Mayfield, they can lose this game.
There's a lot of injuries, I guess. But jeez. But even if Mayfield did go down, I mean, Chubb, that offensive line, the running game alone could probably win this game. I mean, Houston won a big game, but against Jacksonville. Now we have Mayfield hitting on all cylinders. You got the running game. Their defense is decent. I mean, Tyrod Taylor did okay last week, but as much as he could, with what he had to do. I mean, they blew away Jacksonville. He didn't really have to do that much. So I can't figure out a way how Cleveland could lose this game.
I'm with you. Unless like Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb, Baker Mayfield, and
Well,
Landry Jones all get hurt. Not Landry Jones. I keep calling him Landry Jones. Jarvis Landry. I keep calling him Landry Jones, who was a horrible quarterback. Yeah. No. Nice story last week, but they played a minor league team, Houston, last week. Now they're going to play quite potentially a championship caliber team. So,
and angry probably, angry at themselves, Cleveland.
Yeah. So I Cleveland in a rout.
And Houston, I want to point out, did get 3 interceptions last week against Lawrence. He's not going to, this is Mayfield, who doesn't make that many mistakes. But the only reason I brought that up was that was like their total interceptions for all of last year.
Wow, really?
3 interceptions.
Wow.
The Houston defense I'm talking about.
Wow, I was unaware of that. That's crazy. And flip the book the other way, and now you've got that Cleveland defense, Myles Garrett and whatnot coming after.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, come on. That's not even fair.
No.
And the last
this will be the shocker for me if somehow Houston beats Cleveland.
Oh my God. Yeah. I think we could tear up the books and call it a day. The last 1:00 game on Fox, the New Orleans Saints traveled to Carolina to take on Sam Darnold in the Panthers. Yeah.
In Carolina, I went back and forth on this game, but I'm going to wind up going with the Saints because I'm just so shocked how good that defense is. Maybe it is just a one week thing, but man, if they're this good, like one week in and week out, the Saints are going to be there at the end, and I'm going to go with the Saints just because of that.
I'm going to go with the Saints too, and their defense last year was shot out of a cannon like this. The first half of the year they looked really good. And Carolina struggled to put up 16 or 19 points against the Jets.
Yeah.
And it's funny because it took Richie Anderson and Darnold finding their old Jet connection to even do anything. They were kind of stumbling around. It was a boring game. So, yeah, I think the Saints will win that one pretty handily. Moving to 4:05 p.m., Minnesota travels to Arizona.
Yeah, so Minnesota has a chance to repeat last year's really bad start because they lost that game to Cincinnati last week. Now they got Arizona. I think they have Seattle coming up, and another quality team after that. They have a chance to go 0-4, basically, just like what happened last year. And then they kind of just the whole season was done. And I think they'll lose this game as well. I mean, Arizona's defense so good, and I don't think Minnesota's defense is going to stop their Kyler Murray either. So I'm going with Arizona.
I'm also going with the Cardinals at home. They look really good. If Murray's healthy and he, with Christian Kirk and D-Hop all over the field, they're just and their defense is savage. And if they take Dalvin Cook away, like Cincinnati did last week,
that's what they'll try.
And I don't think they'll do what Cincinnati did and let them back in. Cincinnati was up by like two touchdowns, right, and let Minnesota back in.
They did.
I don't see the Cardinals doing that. I think they'll step on Minnesota's neck, and that'll be that. So,
does Arizona have AJ Green too?
Yes, they do. Yeah. 4:05 p.m. on Fox. The Atlanta Falcons travel to the Tampa Brady Buccaneers.
Oh gosh, there's another one where it's like I can't see how the Tampa Bay's gonna lose this game against Atlanta. Oh my gosh, Atlanta's got to show me they can do anything at all on defense or offense before I even think of picking them to win a game. And going into this is games at Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No chance for Atlanta.
One factor in Atlanta's favor: the heat and the humidity of Tampa Bay in mid-September.
Yeah, like Tampa Bay can't deal with that.
No, it's Oh my God. What a shit show. I still predict Matt Ryan will be a Washington football teamer
You
by
know,
trade
that's
by trade deadline. 425 CBS. Tennessee Titans travel to Seattle.
I know. Again, Tennessee also in danger of like starting
Yeah,
off really bad at 0-2 because the way Seattle won last week, that surprised me.
me too.
Jeez. I mean, I actually did pick them to win, but that was kind of like one of those things where I thought it was a pick 'em. I
Yeah.
did not think they could dominate Indianapolis, and now they're at home against Tennessee, who got totally. The NFC, that whole NFC West, they went undefeated last week, by the way,
So did the
uh,
AFC West. Both
and
West.
the
Yeah.
AFC West, right? So I can't see Seattle losing this game. Russell Wilson will get all over them, and Seattle's defense has showed me that they're a lot better than I thought.
Yeah. 12th man in Seattle. Yeah. Sorry, Tennessee, but this might be one of those seasons where, every year we have these teams that you don't expect much from, and there's always one or two shocks. And then there's teams you expect a lot out of that fall off the cliff. And right now, again, it was only 1 week, but
I know.
Tennessee has all the earmarks of the team that falls off the cliff. If they can't get Derrick Henry going, if Ryan Tannehill becomes Miami Ryan Tannehill, or reverts to Miami
Yeah,
Ryan
yeah,
Tannehill, and that on the offense, they're in trouble. And then their defense, I'm sorry, Bud Dupree will become Dud Dupree because he doesn't have someone on the other side. He
right.
fed off the other side. They brought him into Tennessee to be the man. I like Bud Dupree. He's a great kid. He seems like, from all accounts, a good person. But I'm sorry, not a star player. And their defense is just bad around him. So,
Wow.
yeah, I think that Tennessee could be one of those teams that you're like, wow, I thought they were a playoff team, and they're going to be like maybe 500.
Jeez.
Which, no, nobody will be 500 this year. There's odd number of games. But, yeah, I'm with you.
All right.
Seahawks at home. 425 CBS. Dallas Cowboys at the LA Chargers.
This was probably one of my other tougher games.
This
to
is
pick.
tough, man. Wow. Wow.
I know, because the Chargers, Herbert just started off right where he left off. It's like every play, no matter what happens, he seems so like just built to be a quarterback. He's just like the way he responds, and it's like calm, cool, collected, and just confident. And their defense seems to be a better than last year. Cowboys are kind of like same thing. Dak Prescott back to where he was before the injury, and their defense seems a little bit better. I guess I'll just go with the Chargers because they're home, but I think these two teams are kind of pretty even.
Now, I did see Dallas lost Lawrence for Sunday's game,
Oh, I didn't
which
even know that.
hobbles an already not very good pass rush. Boy,
Herbert,
I'm
Cleveland.
waffling. I'm waffling here.
I know, me too.
I'm with you. Here's the thing with the Chargers. Actually, I can't even say what I was going to say. I was going to say they struggled to put up 20 against Washington, but Washington's got an elite defense.
Yeah, I mean, what?
And that was a road game where they had to start. Basically, it was a 10 a.m. start for them, and they won that game. So, you know what? I had Dallas. I'm scribbling it out. I'm going with the Chargers because of the Lawrence being out for one factor.
Jeez.
And I hate to say this because Dallas looked good, I thought, the other night. Zerline kind of screwed them. Their special teams screwed them over. And they got to run Elliott more. I mean, they gave up 10 rushes to 11 rushes. I mean, to me, they gave up on him too soon. There's no way Prescott should throw 58 passes in a game.
Yeah.
That was nuts. I mean, that was just nuts. And what's going to be funny is the Chargers in SoFi Stadium. It's going to have like 40,000 people in a 100,000 seat stadium because nobody cares about the Chargers in LA, which would be sad. So they don't really get a home field advantage. But yeah, you know what? Just in thinking about it, I think the Chargers will win this game.
Yeah, and I already saw a difference in the Chargers this past week. That Washington game that they played, that was that typical game last year where they found a way to lose those type of games, and this time they found a way to win.
Yeah. Right away, I think. And I liked Anthony Lynn a lot. I did. I thought he was, but his clock management skills were not very good. And he cost them like 7 last minute, like last drive losses last year. It was just unbelievable how many games they could have put away. So yeah, and I keep saying my preseason pick for MVP is Justin Herbert. So
Okay, well,
let's see it. There's a couple games here now that we've had to pick that are really tough.
yeah, they definitely.
Including the next one, 8:20 p.m. on NBC, the Sunday Night Football game. The Kansas City Chiefs travel to Baltimore to take on the 0-1 Lamar Jacksons.
That
There's going to be a couple of really good teams that are 0-2 at the end of this week.
Yes, they are. Yep. That being said, I'm going to go with Kansas City and make Baltimore one of those 0-2 teams. Only because, okay, so they had some significant injuries. Number one, and they have to show me that they can beat the Chiefs, even whether home or away.
Mm-hmm.
They always have. They've always had problems with the Chiefs. Did they ever beat the Chiefs during Mahomes?
No.
Probably not. They have. Yeah, I'm going to have to go with the Chiefs. They have to show me they can beat them.
Yeah, I think the Ravens have the earmark, all the earmarks of being this year's 49ers. They've got 11 people out right now with the injuries, and that list is just going to grow. Jackson has not played well against the Chiefs. I just don't see it happening. Yeah, Kansas City. I got to go with you on that one. I think it's going to be a bloodbath of a game. I think it's going to be a street fight. It's going to be fun to watch. But at the end, Patrick Mahomes in 20 seconds is more than enough time, right? If it comes down to it.
Yeah.
And then lastly, Monday night, your favorite team, the Detroit Lions, go to the not-so-frozen tundra of Green Bay.
What the heck do we expect in this game? I don't know what to expect.
I don't know either. I mean,
because Detroit actually showed me something in their loss, and Green Bay showed me nothing from their loss. I mean, I'm going to go with Green Bay just because I think last week was fluky, and they're home, and it's against Detroit. But if it was a team not within their conference going in there, I'd pick them to beat the Packers after what I saw. But then again, we go back to the whole overreaction thing. I'm trying not to do the overreaction thing, so I'm going to think that Green Bay is going to win this game. And they're probably, it's a conference game, so it might be close, but I think they'll win pretty well.
Yeah, I think we'll know who Green Bay is after this week for sure. We'll know everything about them, and specifically Aaron Rodgers and where his headspace is at, and whether or not he's going to even put much of an effort forward this year. Because last week, what I saw body language was terrible. Looked like he just doesn't want to be there. So, and he doesn't. I don't think he wants to be there. Yeah. So, I mean, they had to beg, plead, and drag him back.
That's true. Yeah, you're right.
But you're right. They're home. The home fans are going to be fired up. They're going to be, maybe he'll feed off of that energy. In Detroit, I mean, was that comeback really Detroit?
I don't know.
Was it Detroit or was it, was it 49ers just going, we're good here. It's 41-7 or whatever it was. I think it might be a little from column A and a little from column B.
Yeah. I don't like that from Sam. They better change that type of thing. You need to just put away your games. You just hopefully they'll learn from that and just not do that.
Yeah, Bill Belichick wouldn't give him good. He'd be 72-7. So I'm sorry, Jared Goff. And Dan Campbell's like, what's with that guy? The coach of Detroit, like he's like nuts. So, so when it comes down to it, I got to go with what we know. What we do know to this point is that Detroit is a hapless organization who can't get out of their own way, and Green Bay is a perennial winner. In Green Bay, I think they were just underprepared and they just weren't ready week one, and that happens. I've seen Mike Tomlin, because as a Steelers fan, I've seen Mike Tomlin come out and flat as a pancake. Those Steeler teams are flat as a pancake week one, over and over and over again. This year was an exception. Last year was an exception. But a lot of the times, most of his career with them, they come out week one and get steamrolled, and they look terrible. And in no way, shape, or form, defines who they are going forward. I think that might be true of the Packers. So there's just too much talent on that team.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think they were totally unprepared for the Saints. I think they were kind of shocked that the Saints were that good at stopping them.
I think they might have underestimated the Saints.
Last year,
And it's also a Monday Night Football game on national TV in their home stadium. So I think that's the bright lights are on, and A-Rod knows, because look, the guy's a diva. Oh, the whole world's watching me. He'll light it up. So Green Bay.
Yeah.
So I think we have 2 or 3 different this week. So that'll be interesting.
I'll still call myself crazy for the Bears pick, but it was like one of those things where I have to get out of my plate, so then I don't have to kind of give them anymore.
Well, we're different on that one. So I have Cincinnati, you have Chicago, and we'll see what happens there. But all right. Well, if
they don't win this game, I'm going to fork them right there and then.
We'll fork them. I still have the graphic from last year. We'll just pop it on the screen, and that'll be that. We'll fork the Bears, which is Six's favorite team, by the way.
What?
That's Six's favorite team, so she's coming after you. She's coming after you.
She's going to come after me for
sure.
But I picked them, so she should.
Well.
I did pick them, though. You hear that, Six? I picked them to win.
There we go. All right. Well, again, audience, we want to know what your picks are. So pop them in the comments below, or send us a message on the social media, preferably the Twitter, because I don't know if anybody's checking the other ones these days. I can, but I really don't. So if you put it on Facebook, send us a message on Twitter to say you put it on Facebook.
Yeah. That's true.
Or in the comments below to say go to the Facebook.
Just the comments would be great.
And you can find us there at GeekTimeNet. So, please like the video and please subscribe. Because we have this weird thing where we're way past our view hours that are required, but we're way undersubbed. It's so bizarre. So you really help us out.
Yeah.
So, and again, if anyone is interested, wants to drop their picks, and would like to join us next week for recap, let us know. We'll have you on the show.
Yeah, we'd love to hear another perspective besides ours.
Yeah, who wants to listen to us?
Well, we do, obviously, but besides that.
Oh, hell. All right, man. That's it for me. You got anything left?
Nope. Week 2, there's going to be a lot more surprises.
We'll be back here next week going, I don't believe this.
Can't believe it.
All right. We'll see you next week, gang. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up below. Also, please subscribe to GeekTime TV. It really helps us grow the channel. And make sure you hit that bell icon in order to receive notifications every time we drop new content here. You can also check us out on social media on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at GeekTimeNet. Thanks again for watching. We will see you soon.
Say, kids, what time is that?